Yeah, folks, we said we were coming live tonight, and here we are. So hopefully you all are ready, because it's time to get into episode 7 of Power Book 3, Raising Kanan. Hey, Leon, you damn right we're live tonight. What's up, everybody? What's going on, everybody? Look, tonight we're covering Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, episode 7, Stay in Your Lane. Y'all know who it is. It's Nigerian Lucas, and we got a lot to talk about. But before we start anything, I know that sponsorship area looked blank, but I tell you that's different, because tonight's episode is sponsored by the one and only Famous with his new smash song, The Streets Need a Body.
No. You got to do it right in the 90s. That blazing hip hop and R&B with the hottest street single.
The Streets Need a Body. Man, look, I will play the song, but I'm afraid that YouTube probably gonna try to get it out of there if I did, because I got it queued up for I'm not even lying.
We are not playing Famous Streets Need a Body. Not tonight. Not tonight. Oh, man.
But how y'all feeling tonight? I got to throw some comments up there real quick. Thanks for showing some love, folks. As I said, my man. What's up, Leon? Yo. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about for sure. But yeah, thank you all for coming through. But yeah, I don't know where to start. Let me throw a question to you real quick. Two questions when we get started. Right. Let's get the jokes out real quick. How many people on the average you think we're getting high listening to Babyface? High or low?
Hey, no, you're not gonna say that like people wouldn't. Man, Babyface, Rib Appeal. This is for the cool. Like, yeah, man. It was a bunch of people like maybe not smoking crack laced with fentanyl, but it was a bunch of people smoking weed listening to Babyface. Man, back in the 90s, that's the man. When he said that's my song and that joint came on, I said, yeah, I understand. Homie. I fully understand. Like you got to get in the right set of mind to smoke crack. And he was in that love state of mind, and he just wanted to smoke a little crack to Babyface.
Hey, look at hey man, what? That's what I'm saying. I'm like, man, after that, I'm like, man, I don't know, man. I thought Babyface was for a whole new vibe, but like, I guess it was universal.
Y'all better stop sleeping on these R&B singers, Joe. I'm telling you. I'm surprised they put on Keith Sweat. It would have made so much more coming. Sense.
Oh, you know it. Hey, stay tuned. Episode 8, Keith Sweat. But second question, because Power, all of the different books, whatever you want to call it, their tire is always on point. There's one thing I noticed about this episode that I would say mildly gives me trauma, but I also will say what's the chances that braided belts make a comeback?
All it's going to take is the right fashion designer to put a big G or a big H on one of them belts, and everybody and their mama going to have one on. I love a braided belt, though, man, because I ain't have to worry about loops, and, weight fluctuation. None of that mattered. With the little braided belt, it's always a hole there.
Hey, this is the vibe.
Always good.
This was the
Dog,
vibe, right? Hey,
that was literally my look in the 90s. I love that look. When you get the braided belt to hang, like, come on, son. Like, if you're not from the 90s, you don't understand like just how powerful that look was. That's when you had that look with the Timbs giving them straight Malik Yoba from New York Undercover. Like, you gotta understand that look is like essential 90s hip-hop. Like,
Hey,
come
yo.
on, man.
Hey.
I really that whole outfit there. I had that entire outfit. Probably not the coat, because his coat was probably Ralph Lauren.
Soggy
Mine
collar.
was probably like Triple Fat Goose or one of them other Jones growing up. But yeah, man, I wear that outfit now. That's how much I mess with that show.
Hey, look, we do got a lot to talk about, but real talk, because I'm just taking a look at the comments, I think that we got to go straight to Nicole. Now, this is something, after last week, we all knew something was coming. We knew she was hooked. It was only a matter of time.
I said it. She took that in. I said, watch she get up.
Yeah.
Baby, what is you doing? You took one hit off of a J that clearly has possibly crack sprinkled in it, and you up here taking vials out of someone's book bag. Like,
yeah.
We can have the hard discussion if she deserved her fate because she stole. Because why did you take it? You didn't know what was in that junk.
Hey, what's up with that though? You trying to keep awareness live, brother?
Hey, look here. I say I am from the 80s and 90s. This is our phrase here. We used to smoke weed with Dare shirts on.
But the two things about that scene. Number one, like Lucas told me this before we got started, and I didn't know, but apparently this had leaked. So a lot of people had already knew her fate, but a lot of people who's just been paying attention knew that this was the inevitable. We knew this was going to happen at some point because we know ultimately where Juke ends up at, and we know that this was going to be a big catalyst of it. The interesting thing about it is that while she was in her room, why her parents are banging down the door, and she was just like, all right, well, I'm just going to just do this all here willy-nilly. And she already had a kit ready. But is it me, or was she like, when she was in the club, she was more like of a, I never been down this block before.
Okay. I thought I was the only one to notice that when she pulled out the bong and like, wait, so you already dabbled.
I already knew what to do.
So you already knew. I think so. I don't mean to talk over you because it sounds like we're talking about. But
no.
That situation, maybe it comes across as her being nervous in that environment. She was nervous in the club to do it because of the group of people she was around. But maybe in her room, in a privacy of her own home, she's accustomed to doing it, so she's more comfortable doing it. So, when people are more comfortable doing things, it comes across differently here.
Yeah.
So I thought that's what this was here with this episode. And I mean, that whole scene, that whole setup was amazing also. Granted, we kind of knew where it was going, but it still was a good setup.
Yeah, so let me throw this up here real quick, and thank you everybody tuning in tonight, supporting gaming.
There you go.
2021. I don't feel Kanan is responsible for this, just for the reason I just said. I think what's interesting here is that Juke will think that Kanan is responsible for it, but if she already had this in her stash, she already been down this block. She ultimately knew what she was getting herself into, which makes her solely responsible for this. Well, and when I say her, I'm talking about Nicole.
Well, so I mean, Marvin said the best line of the episode is, "You know what makes crack great? You can't kill people with it." But yet you MFers managed to do something to kill people with it. So I can see how it can be looked at like this is Kanan's fault because of what he did and him mixing the batch that way. But if you're gonna blame Kanan, you gotta blame the guy who introduced him to the stuff, because Kanan knew nothing about it. All he knew is supposedly this is supposed to make weak crack better. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all he knew. And when he went about it the way he went about it, like maybe he again, it's just about not having knowledge of stuff. Kanan is still extremely green here.
Yeah, that's something else I want to talk about here. When in the world, where did he grow some balls and decided to start calling shots?
No. But you gotta realize he's been doing this since the early episodes. When he
Well,
wanted it, remember when he was in the stash house at first and he was like, nigga, you know who I am? And it took someone stronger to be like, you're a nobody. Yeah, I know who you are, but you ain't in this. But when you're dealing with these two people who are really, they're part of Marvin's crew of running the thing that Kanan came up that Marvin is running, like they're not going to be as forceful as someone who is Rock's lead, one of Rock's Lee's lieutenants. That's not going to be the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, he did try to check Scrap earlier, but like,
that's what I mean. Like, Scrap put him in his place. Like, nigga, who are you? But these two gentlemen didn't. And then you introduce him to something that he knew nothing about. Like, literally, the moment I saw the white little bag, I said, oh, it's a certain mixture you got to get to put that, to mix it right. And I do love the point that they brought up when he said, man, yeah, you really did use a lot of that in there. That told me all I needed to know. They're like, oh, he about to kill the whole hood.
Yeah.
Because if that is supposed to be fentanyl, which I'm assuming it is, it's wow. Not snitching at all on myself or anyone else. It is it is a certain mixture you have to put to make it where you get high, but you don't overdose. And he just was heavy-handed, like a nigga with too much salt, and you got somebody with high blood pressure, like that lasagna he baked for his mama. Like if she had high blood pressure, and he poured salt all over that junk. That's what he did with the batch with the fentanyl. But I did like the point that they brought that into play here, because a lot of people don't know what that is. They don't understand, like, you know, people did this when you have drugs that are stepped on repeatedly. You have to find something else to mix with it to stretch it so people will come back. Because I don't know how many people think about drug users and that they have standards. Like, I think people think if you just go in the corner and sell something, or not sell, because you don't sell drugs, you offer drugs. If you offer something, everybody will get it. That's not the case. People still look at quality of what they're getting. So when he brings up, like, man, it's stepped on, we got to be careful with the quality we're getting, and then he pulls out that baggie, you kind of knew the path that this was going to be heading down. We just didn't understand that out of all the bodies that the streets needed, that Nicole would be that body that the streets needed.
Comment on this one. Offer drugs with a question mark. What you talking about? What you talking about, Willis?
Oh, wait a minute. Well, ma'am, here's the thing, Nicole. Oh, Nicolo. I'll make sure I'm saying that. You know, Playthings Jury. I'm gonna call you Playthings Jury, or NPJ. That's it, right? NPJ. Okay. Here's the thing. I don't have to sell a product that everybody wants, like, at all. All I have to do is offer it to you. If I went on a corner right now and said, hey, I got PlayStation 5s, I'm not selling anything. I'm offering it to you. You're going to buy it because I'm offering it to you. You sell cars because you're trying to talk people into getting things. You never have to talk people into getting drugs. If they think you have them and they come to you, they're already buying them. So that's what I mean by offer. I'm not offering. I'm sorry. That's what I mean by offering. I'm not selling you anything. To sell means it takes effort from me. Literally, you saw him when they were on the corner.
Positioning and strategy here.
When they were on the corner, all he did was say, Rock,
yo, test. Yeah.
And they flooded him. Same thing. No difference. So that's why people always got to be careful. You don't necessarily sell drugs. You offer drugs. Because if you looking at me to get it, you already want it. I don't have to sell it to you.
Yeah, I got some good comments here. I got to scroll up on some really quickly, real quick. I like because everybody fooling in the comments right
Hey,
now.
look
But
here,
I
because
do
somebody said
gotta.
Luke is exposing himself. Look, that's why I'm stop talking. I'm stop talking as we go deeper and deeper into this drug talk. But again, it was just a setup for Nicole and Juke that I really, really liked. I really liked the way they gave them the tragic love story, because that's not something that we've gotten in the Power universe to play out as fast as this one played out. Like
Yeah,
normally, this is over a couple of seasons we
yeah,
get the tragic love story played out. They hit you very quick to give it to you.
yeah.
And I'm assuming it is to fully establish the character that Juke becomes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you
And,
need
and like
that
I
great
said,
loss to become that amazing character. And she's already been amazing through this season. So
yeah,
I'm way more interested to see where it goes from here.
yeah, Molly Lee, right. Yeah, she becomes a savage. So, they got to get to things. And beyond that, too, she also has to establish her credibility here because, like, we know where she ends up at and we know the transformation has to happen. But beyond that, it's not just the on and off switch. It is really a development as to her becoming the person that everybody revered. So, that's why this had to be kind of celebrated. And I think 7 episodes suffices for it. So, but hold on, I got to go back to this picture real quick. So, it's real talk because everybody fooling in the comments. Am I the only one that thought you already don't go with this?
Man.
Did you think that she gave her a track, a cassette tape of a Streets Need a Body? Did you?
Who the hell? Look here. I was more amazed that it was a mixtape of Juke singing. I thought she gave her like the classic mixtape jumps. Like I gave plenty of girls back in the day mixtapes. I was the mixtape king. I gave them jumps out to everybody. Like, you get some little 2 occasions on that jump. A House Is Not a Home on that jump. You can mix it up well and you get them nice and ready for when y'all meet up. So I thought that's what this mixtape was. But I love the point that it was, yes, Nicole, Juke's lips was super ashy. That bitch, that was literally my main thought was like, oh man, like nobody thought chapstick here. Like Juke lips are crazy ashy. But I think again, it was a good setup, and it made you care even more.
Yeah.
When Juke is singing to Nicole, who like that's the love of her life early on in her life. This is the first person she's ever felt comfortable with of revealing who she is.
Yeah. Also, real quick, because you kind of downplayed it. Giving somebody a mixtape back in the day was the ultimate gesture of love.
How did I downplay it? I literally named my 2 go-to songs.
I'm just making sure it's known that like you made that mixtape together, and God knows
you put on 2 occasions, and then you put A House Is Not a Home. After that, I could go to anything. Like
just remember,
that
how much
that Boys to Men jump that. Ooh, like you mix all of jumps in there, like but you don't understand.
Just remember how much effort it took to do so.
I was a hoe. That's why I said I gave out multiple mixtapes. I didn't say it like it's not important to give out a mixtape. Yes, it took a lot of effort to stay up at night when they play the
after 12:01.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you got to stay there with your recorder to hit that jump.
Yep.
And then you had to take, because we were poor, so you got to take the tape and put
it
a little piece of toilet paper at the top of it so you can record over that tape. Yes, it took hella effort to do that.
Let's go to this other question real quick. Do you think Rock will find out about the blue top situation? Not a question. Not even a doubt. I think she finds out about everything.
I assume Kanan wanted to tell her.
Yeah.
When he was sitting on the couch and he was shaking the blue top. Because you heard Marvin tell him, no, we burning everything. But if you burned everything, why does Kanan still have one?
Big facts.
So I assume that he wanted to tell his mom because he was terrified.
Somebody brought where is this comment at? They said right here. This one.
Look,
I was digging it.
That was one of the sweetest scenes from. I'm gonna get Back to
I want.
Babyface. It's
I
one of the
want.
sweetest things I've seen empower any book. I love the setup. I love the point that Juke feels finally comfortable within herself. She's celebrating, she's dancing, and then her aunt
Yeah.
comes in and she just doesn't know what to do because she's never revealed this part of herself to anybody. So the moment Rock says, "I'm not Marvin Jr.," like that relief that comes over Juke and her saying, "I just want you to be happy." I think
Yeah.
that is, this is why
Well,
this show to me it's better than book 2. It's because of scenes like that that can happen. Like that is an amazing touching scene and an amazing moment of her just having it with her down to, well, who you going to? Her name is Nicole. Well, Nicole's a lucky girl. Like,
but see, this is what I said last week, because the conversation was about the whole awkwardness between her and Detective Burke, and I was like, oh, it's never has to go that way because Rock got her, and it had never been, this scene had never happened, but you knew enough about their relationship, and there's enough within the community that there's evidence sprinkled from either within your own family or other people that you know that this aunt and niece sort of situation is special, and they showcased it bright and early, which I knew this was a no-brainer that this scene was going to happen the way it was. So I love that it was displayed this way. And I also want to throw another scene out there really quickly too. I also think, and this is like why Rock may be one of the most really three-dimensional characters that we've seen in all of Power, because in all of Power, because she's strong in what she does. She's a very present mother in what she does, but also she stands up for a lot of societal standards that, especially in this time, that there wasn't a presence shown.
In other words, she's the opposite of Ghost, because Ghost was a strong drug dealer and a business owner, but a horrible father. Like we're finally getting, you know what? We're finally getting to see a good parent who actually controls operation. Not saying Monet is not a good parent, because she is. She just cussed a lot and told them get the fuck together. But like Rock doesn't do that. She has a softer side that we didn't get to see with Monet. We get to see it with Rock. And I think that's amazingly done here. Because when she flips that switch and she needs to be hard, she's extremely straightforward with Kanan.
Yeah. And like, to the point that, when she went to go see Homegirl at the convenience store, I thought this was a really powerful scene too that a lot of people are not going to talk about, because they both established that like they picked each other, and that had nothing to do with their ethnicity. It had nothing to do with their background, what their bracket was and whatnot, the lifestyle. It was the idea that it was two women that said like, we can help each other out, and regardless of anything that brought us together, we're here, and I got your back and you got my back. And I was like, what's even crazy thinking about this? It's almost to a point where it's like, yeah, we know she set her up with her cousin Joaquin, and he may be the new connect, but it's almost to a point where it's just like the lady at the store may end up becoming a bigger factor than we can even imagine.
I think that's something to pay the most attention to. That I think she's going to become a big player, because as you hear her cousin say, I don't trust her choice in husbands, but everything else I do. That tells you like she's going to play a huge part, because if he becomes Rock's connect, why wouldn't she play the big part of it? I think eventually she's going to get Rock to kill her husband. And her take over the bodega, which means she is part of Rock's
organization
whole setup.
Yeah,
like that's something that I think can be very interesting here. I'm all for it. I'm all for the way they are slowly progressing characters here.
Yeah, me too. All right, we definitely jumped over a bunch of things. Let's go to the beginning of this episode, folks. If everybody in the chat is cool with that, let's talk about Lou running up on Homeboy and missing. Now, what's interesting about this, and you all let me know what you think, is he had the drop on dude and missed. And to me, this instantly speaks out about something Luke has been saying a lot over the last few episodes, is that this is why Marvin is that guy and Lou isn't. And it's funny that, because I didn't think they were going to address it this episode, but they did. And then they start to talk about, oh, Lou, are you distracted because your entrepreneurship stuff, your music got you blind?
This music shit got your aim messed up. Like, what's going on here?
You had him dead to rights, and you missed.
Look
so,
here.
folks, I wanna know, like, what is your thoughts on that? And like, do you trust Lou in this point? Because
wait a minute, I feel so attacked every time we got to say
Lulu squared. Yeah. But like, he's supposed. I mean, in this, I mean, Rock runs everything, but the two of them are clearly the next two up together. But like, we're seeing how, like, because like, let it be known, you know, Marvin has made his mistakes, and as Marvin said, when I make mistakes, y'all making a big deal. He is so damn right. He is so damn right.
We let that shit go, because this was a first and foremost here. I love.
Or did he mean to miss? Oh my, I
don't think he meant to miss. And the only reason I say he didn't mean to miss is because of what happened after he missed. He did not mean to miss that shot at all. But I will say this, because Rock pointed it out, and I wondered the moment I saw him going up to that dude, who the hell thinks a Tech 9 is the gun to use to kill somebody? This gentleman, and excuse my language as I go on,
I agree.
This gentleman was eating pussy. All you had to do, if you had a Glock, you could have aimed it and shot him in his head. It'd have been the easiest shot in the world.
Hey, though, like, read this comment.
Exactly. Like, it was like, I thought Lou was getting off on the amount of time he was taking. And then he was creeping up on dude. You could have ran up on him. Yeah. As long as he was eating her out, you was fine. His ears and everything was in it. You was perfectly fine.
Let me read this for anybody who just listening. Ratchet Studio says, homie was staring at dude eating tuna for a whole 30 seconds and missed on purpose or got distracted. Now, the got distracted part is also super interesting.
I can see you getting distracted because she was, So I can see you getting distracted, but I don't think Lou missed on purpose. And I think also, again, he went with the wrong gun. Because as much as we say he missed, and he missed a lot of bullets, the gun ended up jamming, which guess what? Tech 9s jam all the time. That's why you don't use those guns. You don't use guns that jam, that you can't easily get one out the chamber to fix the jam. It made no sense. And I love the point that Rock picked up on it and said it when he said the Tech 9 jam. And she said, maybe you went with the wrong gun then.
Yeah.
And he said, I never miss. Nigga, you missed 20 shots because you didn't just miss him. You missed when you shot through the door and you hit nobody. She was just in the corner. She should have died too. Matter of fact, in all honesty, from a distance, I'm just going to let this off. Fuck her and fuck him if I'm trying to kill him. Everybody got to die. I'm just going to spray up and down. It don't take much effort.
So I'm just going to throw like a little bit of a devil's advocate here. Now, this may be wild, but like obviously, and y'all can tell me what y'all think about this. Like, he seemed to be really boasted when somebody brings up his music. And a lot of that whole happening had to do with the confidence that his girl gave him. And I'm wondering, when he saw homeboy and homegirl walking down the street, did he just get googly eyed and start thinking about his girl?
If that's the case, Lou is a liability. But not only that, if that's the case, he don't listen to Famous' song. Famous told him the streets need a body. And you had the bodies in front of you to give the streets. Because he didn't give the streets those bodies, they took Nicole. See. So bring it back. It's all Lulu's fault. Nicole's death is all Lulu's fault.
Hey.
The streets asked for a body, and he could have gave the streets 2 bodies instead, because he got all googly eyed listening to LL Cool J's "Around the Way, Girl," because it's in the 90s. I know that's what y'all was listening to. He ended up
that's my jam,
missing. Though. Like, I think it's important to point out that Lou said, "I don't miss."
Yeah, famous did such
like that. That's highly important to point out that Lou said, "I don't miss," because if you don't miss, how did you miss so badly?
So that is interesting, because that I think this is one of those, like, when you think about certain dialogue that you may quickly overlook, as Marvin said, well, when I do something wrong, they get mad at me, and that came into evidence this episode. So him saying he don't miss ever, I guarantee next episode we're going to see this come full circle. I want to come back. I want to come back to this comment real quick. The diner scene was good when dude realized it was Lou. I thought this was one of my favorite scenes this episode with Neek and Lou. I thought it was really dope here. So to the point that everybody's calling distractions here, and Lou still held his own in regard, but do you think, because Neek has been hip, just like he was hip to Scrap.
Yeah.
Do you think that he knows the way to actually get to pretty much flipping Lulu here? Do you think this is going to be a thing? Do you think he's going to flip him?
If he thought that's the way to get to Lou and to flip Lou, he quickly learned that ain't going to work with Lou. I love the way Lou responded to him when he said, "I got one problem, man." And
that was so dope.
Thinking clearly, like, yeah, it's your sister. He said, "No, I don't like dealing with bitch ass niggas."
Yeah,
and it was a perfect setup, because it lets you know that no matter what's going on with Lou, he will always be in Rock's corner. That's never gonna change here. I think the miss was strictly because he is distracted. It's great. You can be perfect at shooting if you don't have nothing else on your mind.
Yeah.
But I think, and they may have smartly done it by introducing a love interest into Lou's life early on in this season, it will explain any other issues that arise with him.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make sure my lips not ashy, because Nicola is really looking after she pointed it out about you.
Hey, Marvin can't hide a body. Lulu can't catch a body.
Hey, look here. She got one complete psychopath, which is Marvin, and Lou cried at the only time we saw him kill somebody. So, like, it's gonna be very interesting to see how we play out with these brothers and what happens afterwards with them. Hey, I love that scene with the sandwich. I absolutely did.
I did too.
Like, that's old school mob type of movie setup. That whole setup was an old school mob movie setup. For him eating the sandwich in front of him, for them having a place, and I think that's important too. They literally have a place where it's neutral ground, where nothing happens on. That's a code that don't normally exist in street life. Because in street life, if I see you, I'm like, I don't care where you're at. You could be, Biggie said it in multiple lyrics, I will shoot the funeral up if I think I can get you. The point that they have a mutual spot that they said this is common ground, nothing happens here, that's amazing. That's something else we really need to look into.
Let me bring up this comment real quick from Marissa Leslie. I think Lulu didn't want to kill again.
He cried in the last one, so you may be right.
And somebody, I forgot, I think I posted it already, but somebody did make a comment saying that, like, they don't think he's about this life anymore. And it could be true. It really could be true. And I said this, and I said that, and even not today, we see rappers want to be trappers and trappers want to be rappers. And you just don't like give up the lucrative drug business and famous be your only artist. He better come out with where is his total?
Where is his Mary J. Blige? I need something else. Because
Famous on right now. All right. So look.
Ain't no bull, because the little Puerto Rican dude did say,
yeah, you're right.
I work for BGM, and that's a big company. That's a Sony affiliated company. And he said, I work with them, and that street needs a body. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. And you see the pride in Lulu's face when he said that. But I mean, if that's the case, oh man, Tony, you can't see my playlist, man. I can't get nothing from you for my playlist.
Hey man, go ahead and catch a Lou's playlist on Spotify. He dropping it tonight.
Hey, yeah, we're gonna give you everything. The hits, nothing but the motherfucking hits.
What?
You know what? Get out the comments. Get out the comments right now.
You gotta talk to me about that.
We gotta talk about the rest of the episode. Get out the comments.
Another thing I'm gonna bring up too. I thought it was interesting because this is something I do know about.
Mm-hmm.
They brought up when and let me actually get this scene up real quick for you all. Hold on. Right here. Right. So we knew because we haven't talked about Kanan and Davina, but we're coming to that right next. But obviously, after Davina's reaction to Famous Song, also Peep the Belt, he G-checked him. He was just like, we'll come back to the details here. The thing I want to bring up about this is that Famous also tried to correlate him and his lyrics to Eazy-E. And what I thought was interesting about this was that they're on the East Coast. And Eazy-E wasn't in NWA. We all know the whole difference between West Coast, East Coast thing. But I thought it was interesting that they did not accept Eazy-E or NWA instantly when it came out. It took a growing to the East Coast and New York in particular.
I think I'll help you out after you finish. Go ahead, though.
But my point is, I was wondering why did they want to reference Eazy-E here? Because that's not just a name that you just drop. That's not going to hold weight to
let me help you out here. Maybe at the beginning, but the beginning for Eazy-E would have been in the 80s. This is the 90s. By the 90s, especially if it's in a certain time period in the 90s.
I think it's like 91, 92, right?
Yeah, by that point, everybody knew that most of what Eazy-E said, he did. It was no question about it.
So
when Famous says, I didn't know when Famous says that's a horrible example, I didn't know if he was portraying that Eazy actually did live their life. That was not a question with Eazy-E. It may have been a question with everyone else in NWA, but it ain't a question with Eazy-E. I didn't know if it was that or that this was around his death.
See, that's what I'm getting at here. That's what I'm getting at. So, but again, it's just because we want to pick up on tidbits that they're just throwing out there. Because
if they wanted to say people don't live their lyrics, they easily could have chose Tupac, and they didn't.
Yeah,
they chose Eazy, but Eazy at that point was huge. Eazy was huge at that point. So even on the East Coast, because again, I was a kid during this time period in 92, 91, 92. I knew who Eazy-E was. Everybody on the East Coast knew who Eazy-E was. If you ain't hear Boys from the Hood, you knew about NWA. If you didn't know about NWA around this time, you knew about the diss that Dre sent him on Dre Day.
Did he really die in 95?
Yes, he did.
The 95 was a rough year.
That's why I didn't know which the time period this is supposed to be. Well, hold up. 95 or 93. Somewhere around that time Eazy died because it was right around the release of Bone Thugs and Harmony's first album.
Yeah, exactly. That was almost like his last God-given gift to the world. Yeah.
It wasn't creeping on it was creeping on the come up. It wasn't Eternal. And Eternal was 95. So Eternal, I think he was gone by the point when Eternal came out. But I think everybody knew who Eazy was, and back then, a lot of people did question if Eazy lived his lyrics.
I don't know. But yeah, you're sparking the questions I was thinking. So that I just want to throw it out there. But I do want to go to Kanan and Davina. So we know this is probably
for a tragic end.
Yeah, this is the last collision course that we're all expecting here. First of all, they went to a nice fancy restaurant. They got the double date going. Rock, got surprised, but it all turned good for her because Lucas' favorite person
my man Symphony coming back.
came through.
Look here. Whenever I have another little boy, I'm gonna name him Symphony. This is a hell of a name. This is a hell of a name, Joe.
I'm about to mute him. You wild there. But the important thing is that what's special about this is that we're again another display of Rock's presence. They're at a restaurant that they're the only black people in there. Davina's clearly out of her element. Not to mention, who the hell is watching Tonisha? Which I also want to bring up really quick too. They have brought up Tonisha, and Tonisha has had more appearances than what's her name from Jazz from Power Book in 6 seasons. So I think it's going to be important to keep attention to the mother and Tanisha's relationship or something going forward because I
think they bring her up for a good reason, and that reason is when they who didn't like her. Now, I don't know who didn't like Hall and Oates. Hall and Oates was the shit. I don't know who didn't like Hall and Oates. I love Hall and Oates.
He and that run him over right there. That run Rock right back over.
But I think they're bringing her up because it's a gateway to what Davina did, and that eventually has to be brought up. Like, she's the one who gave up the stash house. Technically, she's the one who gave up all this stuff. And it's going to make Rock make the tough decision, which is she got to go. So everybody who think that's Baby Tasha, that's not Baby Tasha.
Yeah. Hey, I got to find this comment real quick. This one right here. What's up, MacTown? So what's up, people? Do you think Breez is going to show up before the season's over? And who will be the best to play him? So I'll jump to the second part of this question. Who do I think is the best to play him? I think when you have somebody like Joey Badass, who I've never seen act before, who is killing his role, I don't think there is a best of anybody to play anybody. I think that roles like this, it has to be somebody who either has been or about that life, or it just has to be a relationship or a sense of confidence that 50 has with somebody being casted for that role. And I don't think that's somebody like we can just from the outside identify, because I would have never casted Joey Badass for anything. He's not even on my iTunes list right now. Yet I do like him. I do like that. Well, to clear, because you're getting ready to say something crazy.
That's my guy.
I like his music, but I don't have nothing of his saved. Like, I'm not going out the way. But at the same,
it's a song with him and Pusha T that I listen to almost daily.
And I like Pusha T too, and I don't have any of his saves. So I'm just saying, like, it's just levels to this. But I would never put him in anything like acting. But he's killing this role. But like, so who would play Breez? I don't know. So I'm happy to see someone step up.
Yeah.
And if obviously you all haven't seen BMF, but you just never know these actors who could be put into.
I wanted to say message the moment you said that.
Yeah, sorry.
It's the one you said. And
sorry, folks.
Haven't seen BMF.
Oh yeah, sorry folks.
Just giving out secrets here. That's cool. Yeah, it's cool.
Sorry, BMF reviews coming, folks. Whole season reviews coming soon, folks. So, but do I think he's gonna show up? I think because of fan service that we want somebody at the end of the season to show up. So if it's Ghost, Tommy, Angela, Tasha, whoever it may be,
we always got to play back to that clip we saw at the end of Power. Of all of them together. That clip wasn't done for no reason.
Yeah, not at all. And not on top of that, it's not just a clip, but you had to film it. So you had to get all these people together to say, hey, we need. And you also have to think too that if they filmed them with that identity and that look, you're not going to progress years later because people age every day.
Those are the kids that's going to play those characters, and then they'll meet this Kanan.
Hey, Wood already getting that money in BMF, right? That's all I'm gonna say. But Wood.
See, that's what I mean. You're giving up stuff. They don't know that Wood Harris is in BMF.
Oh, I don't know. All right, y'all.
They don't know Wood Harris is in BMF. Stop giving up that information. But again, I think I think that's down the line, and that may be season 2 of Kanan, and maybe that's why they signed on so quick for season 2. But
Yeah.
as it pertains to this season, I don't see anyone else showing up because it's not a need for anyone else to show up.
There's a
You have
lot
a
of
multitude of very interesting characters that need conclusions. This should be 10 episodes.
Yeah.
If Kanan is 10 episodes, that means we only have 3 left.
Yeah.
But within 3 episodes, you really have to wrap up this season.
Yeah. It's funny that this has 10 and What's Face has 8. So I mean, but there's so much stuff coming out for stars, folks. So they're gonna do what they gotta do.
I think are you talking about Power Book 2? Because how many episodes did Power Book 2 have?
I can't even remember.
I can't. All I remember is Tommy showed up at a graveyard. That's all I can remember. But I think it was around 10 episodes.
Power never ends.
Yeah, exactly. So if you give this one 10 episodes and you have 3 episodes left, I think we're coming close to the conclusion of everything. So with you having to really wrap up Rock, Marvin, Lulu, Juke, Kanan, Famous, because the streets need a body, the Bodega and his wife on, it's too many characters to have to close out to introduce someone else in it at this point. And I think we need to just focus on that part of it.
How did Davina hear Famous song? I didn't even think about this. And hold on, there's another comment. After she got that dinner all of a sudden, I don't know. That's interesting.
Listen, and they better come up with a good reason, because I actually thought about that when I watched the episode, because this ain't 2000s shit, and it's not a SoundCloud. It's gonna give me a song.
Rock and Lulu dies.
Not this early.
I don't think so too. I think, first of all, I think that Rock dying doesn't make sense because they're building her not only as a strong character, but a strong woman. I don't think that's just good for marketing. I don't think the show would want to take such a drastic.
If you want to guess a character that dies, it's gonna end up being Neek, most likely.
I would think Neek too. I would think Neek. I would also think that Lulu possibly, but definitely not Rock. So to the question that's kind of swirling around, I do personally think that by the end of this season that we do get a hint to what's to come for next season. So I do think one of our really popular characters, such as Ghost, Tommy, Angela, the school that they went to, whether they're referencing him going there, whether it's why I can't even think of his name right now. Forgot that quick. Breez, excuse me. I think we will get somebody like that, because I think like this season will close the story arc of here's what I think is going to happen. I think that we're going to get more of a revelation of how does Juke become who she becomes. Well, I think we're going to understand the whole balance of power within the territories and who claims what.
Let me help you out here real quick of why. And I know everybody's going to be mad when I say this. Why it won't have anything to do with Tommy, Ghost, Angela, or any of them. At the end of Power, when we see them as children, we also hear Juicy as a song. This is supposed to be taking place in 1991 with Kanan. Yeah. Unless they are willing to time jump and not go to the next year, which would be very interesting to do that, because it's not explaining a lot of the progression that happens with these characters. We can't see them. It's too early. Juicy came out 94, 3 years from the first season of Kanan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're rushing to introduce any of those characters to Kanan. I think they realize it's enough characters here to progress the story and keep people interested.
I'm gonna bring this comment up. Tony T. Joey Badass is only casted for 8 episodes, so if anyone's gonna die, it's gonna be him. So I don't take too much stock into when IMDb talks about how many episodes some people are in. Sometimes they're dead ass accurate, but sometimes I think that they only know as much as information is allowed.
You can say it, and we can. Tony T, let me help you out here. We myself or Najir have reviewed enough stuff to understand that IMDb only gets what the studio will allow them to get.
Yeah, I've definitely seen people say they were only cast for one episode and been in. Snowfall is an example too. Matter of fact,
boy, is it ever, because by the end of that season, some of them people shouldn't have been in that episode because, according to IMDb, they weren't cast for that much of the season.
But I'm cool with, like, you know, with the idea of even using that information to kind of give suspense as to what may happen, because, you know, it keeps the fan invested and involved. And I think that, you know, either way, we're just looking to see what's going to happen next. So whether you think or whether you know, I think either way, everybody comes together and it's like, you know, I can't wait to see ultimately what's fact. So, so I think the last thing I want to just talk about is so we talked about Symphony.
Is it Officer Howard
and Young Mom? Yep. They want to do. I just want to wrap this up real quick. So, you know, Symphony and Rock are back on. They're good. They already banged twice. She's on cloud 9.
They're already doing it. Yep.
I thought it was interesting that Kanan also picking up from him, you know, learning from the professor while they're not even in class, which was pretty dope. And like we said, we talked about Davina saying like, hey, you know, famous may not be about their life, but you are. So we know that's going to carry the last 3 episodes of this season. We're going to see how that all plays out. And Davina, to be honest, Davina's not a strong character. She's only coming in almost as cameos nowadays.
She needs to die at this point, because streets need a body.
But yeah, let's talk about Officer Howard. Talking about ask your mom about me. I don't even have I really don't want to, you know, give
those
my
are
rules.
Fighting words.
Exactly.
Ain't no way in hell. I don't care who you are. You gonna see me in the streets and say, ask your mama about me.
Yeah.
Nigga, are you joking?
Hey, J Money, killing Detective Howard. I don't know how this goes. I mean, and I'm sorry, to your question, I say no. But what I do think is that Howard is playing a typical, I don't even want to use the choice of words, but he's playing that type of character that we all are very much accustomed to. He's saying all this to cause family turmoil, and it has nothing to do with him being a dad. It has nothing to do with him wanting to expose the truth. He solely wants Kanan to know this because he needs that donor.
He need that donor. That's the most important thing to Howard. Granted, in this episode, it did come across as him caring when he said, I'm just checking up on you. I'm just making sure you're fine.
BS.
But come on,
BS.
We all know in the end, he needs Kanan, because if that's his son, he needs a transplant. And that's the most important thing to him. But at this point, they're going to have to really work hard to make it worth casting Omar Epps as that character.
Yeah. And I don't think he dies this season, but I think he will die of cancer. I think Kanan would never know the truth. And I think that, you know, that's where it's going to come down to. We're seeing him being progressive about wanting to get a donor, to him ultimately realizing, like, you know what, I'm going to let him live his life. Because I think it will be a conversation between Rock and him where she understands that if you tell if you tell my son that he's the son of a cop, you put him in more danger than I am. And way that right there is nothing but the truth. Son of a
cop already cooking crack laced with fentanyl.
Exactly. This one right here. He could care less about Kanan. Absolutely, Elvis Murray. So really quickly, because we want to wrap up for the show for tonight, I'm trying to catch up with the comments right here. Oh, okay. So yeah, because we want to talk about next week's episode really quickly. Now, Nicole has died. Thank you, Hulu, for leaking that. Because whether you watched it or you saw it, but we all knew it was coming.
You know, at this point, Nicole dead at this point.
Yeah, Nicole is dead. That was interesting, because that was going to be my final question. Did she die, or, you know, whatever? But she's dead. And much like Marvin predicted, which is so funny because they try to build Marvin as the hothead, but man, has that man been right. And here we go with the whole thing that he said. Once it gets into the white community, we're in trouble. They're in trouble. Nicole died. She has a funeral, as we see from the preview for next week. It's going to be all traced back.
Juke's gonna show up to the funeral. If Juke's
Yep.
at the funeral, guess what? She's the only black person there. You're gonna blame her.
They're
You're
gonna
gonna
blame her
trace her
anyway.
back to her
Yep.
father. Then you're
Yep.
gonna trace her back to her aunt. Where do you think Nicole got the crack from?
Yeah. And maybe, maybe Detective Howard can do something here, but who knows? But I
Maybe
will say,
Detective Howard saves everyone because
hey, this is I was gonna open up the show with this. Kanan did catch a couple of bodies this episode. Like, if I'm counting the record, that's 3 visibly people that Kanan.
you talking about all
Kanan's,
the crackheads.
yeah, Kanan called
Look
by.
here. They
But
come and they go.
But yeah, this is the comment. White girl died from crack, and the feds picking this up. Omar predicted it. Yeah, the streets is hot right now. The streets is even hotter than it ever was now. So
yep. But we also got to pay attention that it's one white girl, and unless they want to hype this up, it's the 90s. You know, many white people died from crack. Like it ain't.
yeah.
It
But
ain't
I
nothing
mean,
new.
but yes, it's the focus of the show right now.
The point that Scrappy lived, please.
Without an eye and without
Nick is the worst kingpin ever.
Yeah, lost the kidney in the eye. Yeah. A smoking bass, the Babyface. What y'all doing tonight once we done rapping? Because we're getting ready to get off here.
Whip appeal.
Folks, really quickly, throw in the comments real quick. Any other thing y'all want us to cover before we wrap up tonight? Anything else?
Anything else happening in this episode that y'all be like, you know what? We need to talk about that. I can't think of anything else because we talked about Lou. We talked about Kanan. We talked about Davina. We talked about Rock. We talked about my guy, the best character on this show so far.
We already covered that, man. My man was in La La Land. I think he was thinking about
Lulu missed that shot though. We talked about it. I think maybe he was distracted by the box.
Yeah,
maybe
I was thinking about his Spanish mommy. Here,
Roddy Richin, and this, the box took over. We don't know what it was.
This is the most absurd comment.
Hey, that is highly important because she brings that up. And again, I don't believe throwaway lines exist.
So, the guy, yes. The woman, no. She will be a vital part going forward.
The woman will be a part of Rock's organization.
I feel super strong about that. Right. I absolutely do. And I think
Rock having another baby.
Yeah.
Boy, would that created a very interesting thing with Kanan, because as we go to the future, he never brings up having a sibling. That doesn't mean he doesn't have one, though.
Ooh, okay. So this is interesting too. The store owner wife has gangster family member. I mean, it's. I hate to say this, but like, especially back in the day, this was just a custom for women to get beat, and it was just that.
Rich Ratchet Studios, because that's what Rat are. It's too many numbers in your name.
It's Ratchet Studios,
but Ratchet Studios.
Yeah,
Let me say this, and I mean no offense by the way I'm gonna have to word it to make you understand fully what I'm saying. And nor am I implementing myself in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So don't take that out of what I'm about to say here, because I'm going to personalize it because it helps you understand. Back in the day, we used to beat women every day with no issue. And when I say we, I mean men. Every day. It was normal practice. If you watch movies in the 90s, if you watch movies from the 80s, if you watch movies from the 60s, 70s, 50s, 40s, or 30s, you will see men beat women and it not be a big deal. So if she's in love with this guy, she's going to take those beatings. Matter of fact, from her family's perspective, she's supposed to do it.
No, that's right. She doesn't love him. That's not even a question. She hopes he never comes back, as she said. But no, it's just, like ignorantly saying, but it's the truth. It's just the way of life. Women got beat back in the day, and it was supposed to be. But I do think what's interesting about that question is that I think once her cousin Joaquin, once he recognizes how strong of a woman Rock is and how Rock respects her, I think everybody's about to get elevated. And I think this changes a lot. And I think that's why that conversation had where said, I picked you, but if you pick me.
If she gets elevated, do you not believe she would become an issue for Rock?
Not at all. Not
Why
at
not?
all. Because this is not the conversation here. The conversation here is that she's going to explore other parts of New York that was never ever up for options for.
Always remember, as we progress along through the 90s,
I appreciate the knowledge, man.
We have to progress women along with everything else in the 90s. What happens when she fully understands you're only in this position because I put you there?
It's not enough story for there. I don't think.
No, I'm not talking about for season. I'm not talking about for season 1, because I don't think for season 1 that will even become close to being discussed. But this is a progression over time. What's going to happen with these characters? If y'all keep on trying to connect people to Angela, Ghost, and Tommy, is it because she's also a Latino that you think she's automatic? Is that Roz's mother? Is that Roz and Angela's mother? Come on, son. Come on. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that with you.
Oh, it's all good, J Money. You know, we right after the episode drop. We want to get on here.
I'm late. But I gotta watch it. Hey, man, look here. Y'all get to feel my pain tonight, okay? We watch these episodes and we try to review it with you all, so we experience it like the audiences do. Even when we get shows early, we do the exact same thing where we try to watch it with you all. Or if we watch it maybe a couple days beforehand, we still come on here and we don't talk to each other and we give our first opinions with you all, because it makes it more natural to have these discussions.
Exactly. Folks, a couple of things before we sign off tonight. The power struggle, no pun intended. There is no pun intended. This is literally the theme of power. It's all about the power struggle. So every time you start thinking about things, realize that that's always the dynamic in the entire series. It's always about the power struggle. So you're spot on, Elvis. Hey man, we appreciate you coming through. Hey, appreciate you too, my brother. Her loyalty and respect to Rock due to whatever happens to her husband will keep her absolutely highly favored. Hey,
I don't know why at this point in power, you all think loyalty will keep people in check. We've literally seen.
But hold on, no. I'm letting this comment go because literally we've never seen this establishment, and I think because we've never seen a character like Breez. Hey, y'all funny. Who is worse, Kanan or Tariq? Tariq, not even a question. Yep.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because he had all the reasons in the world to not go the way he went.
So did Kanan.
No, he didn't.
Why?
No, he didn't. Because the moment
we're not going to for another hour. But what I'm going to say is Kanan had the same opportunities not to be in the business as Tariq had. And Tariq's reason for going into the business, because his father is that person, is literally the same thing Kanan says.
Wrong.
Are you judging Tariq just because Tariq's in that big ass penthouse that anybody can walk into?
No, I'm just saying he could have went to school plenty of times and he just kept trying to go against the grain.
Did we not see at the beginning of this show Kanan purposely blow an opportunity to go to even a better school to sell crack? We saw Kanan do that at the beginning of this episode.
All right, fair enough. All right, folks. So look, we usually pre-record and drop the release for you all. So should we come back live next week? Y'all want to do that? Y'all want to do this again next week? Got down for the liveness?
We up at this time every week doing this.
Y'all want to do it one more time? Y'all want to run this back? Y'all look, the streets need the body or what? Because
I can't get a streets a body. Not at this point. I'm too old to get a streets a body.
All right. Well, folks,
I just know Famous better get another hit single. He needs to have more blazing hip hop and R&B.
Hey, back in the 90s, man, you can have one. You could be a one-hit wonder. You could write that for 20
Geronimo.
years.
Man, you could be MC. You could be Pharoah Monch. Pharoah Monch had one. Shut the fuck, and that was it. Everybody's like, well, Mims, but Mims is the early 2000s. But y'all know what I'm talking about.
The streets need a Bible. Sheesh. All right. Well, it is
Sunday. Man.
That's what we
doing. About to drop that new Donda. Talking about the streets need a Bible.
Hey, yo, Streets Need a Body Part 2. Hey, who getting on that remix, y'all? But nah, we out. We already know.
We already know.
Yeah, he gonna talk about what he did to King Cole. All right, bet. I'm with it. All right, well, look, we appreciate y'all so much for tuning in. So many comments. And I hope I didn't skip any of y'all, but if I did, it's just because like there's a billion of y'all down there, but we truly appreciate y'all tuning in. So, as always, folks, regardless if we're live, regardless if we're pre-recorded, we're back each and every week covering Power. Then we're covering BMF, so stay on the tune for that. Stay on the lookout for that. And then
it's a couple of
we got
shows in that lineup, man.
Yeah, we got a lot of Saturdays and Sundays we got dedicated for you all. So just know we back each and every weekend, whatever it is we covering. But we do appreciate y'all tuning in. The streets need a plug, streets need a body, streets needs the Bible. All y'all need Jesus tonight. That's all I gotta say.
Hey, y'all better be at home listening to that Donda chat talking about y'all need Jesus.
Wow. Hey, but real talk, y'all. We appreciate y'all tuning in, and we'll be back next week for episode 8. So we'll see y'all then. Y'all be safe. If you catch your body, don't let us know because make better decisions out here. All right, y'all.